Hello friends, and welcome back to the cabin. I'm on my way down to Jennifer and Steven's new house. I'm going to do some work on the kitchen pantry down there, trimming it out, and she invited me to supper. Well, Jen, what do you think about the closet?
I think it looks good. It ties my kitchen in together. Y'all, don't look at my nasty kitchen. I was in the middle of washing dishes.
That's some of her knickknacks that she's got up there that she put up on top of the cabinets, just so that y'all could see.
Y'all, Dad's gonna do what he does best. He's gonna make me a barn door. And instead of putting it on the outside, we're actually gonna put it on the inside. And I'm gonna stain it and it's gonna be so cute. And it will actually go this direction, because this direction will have a microwave because I'm gonna hide it.
Well, on behalf of those noisy cicadas and myself, good morning. I'm heading down here to the sawmill because we're going to get started putting the flooring down today, see how far we can get with it. But I've got a surprise that I want to show you. Well, you know, friends, I've noticed two things. Those cicadas, they stop whenever it starts to rain. And then I think I've also noticed that later in the afternoon, begins to die down to almost nothing. But early in the morning like this, they'll be very loud. So let me show you the surprise. Got a couple of hand tools that were given to me by family members. One of them is a large mattock right here that does have a defect. I'll have to see if I can't heat that up, bend it back out. But this needs a handle. And then this is a small, like a digging mattock, kind of basically the same thing, but on a much smaller scale. This is good for gardening and weeding, and you know, if you're digging for rocks and things like that, this comes in real handy. So we'll be putting new handles in those in some upcoming episodes. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this flooring. Alright, let's see if we can get this 2x10 down in there. Alright, now we'll get this last one in there, and then we can start on the flooring. Well, friends, we are almost there. I tell you what, friends, it is humid outside today. Although it's open underneath and air will be able to flow underneath the workshop, I debated on whether to put any plastic down or not, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put this down there. That way I know that moisture won't come through the ground, even though, like I say, it will have a draft on still days. You know, it won't have a chance to settle in up here. So what my plan is, I'm going to start over here on this side and lay a couple of rows, and then what I'll do is I'll stretch this underneath. The reason that I waited, I didn't want to walk all over the top of this back and forth, back and forth. So I'll do 2 rows at a time, and then I'll stretch the plastic out, and that way when I'm done up here, I'll be able to reach underneath and put some dirt on it where it won't go anywhere. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. Well, it's just a little bit crowded in here, but I think I'll be able to make it. Friends, I'll tell you, I had to go change those clothes that I had on a while ago because our humidity is about 70% and they were just getting so wet and sticking to me, so I feel a whole lot better. Gotta get some more bullets. Well, good morning, friends. I thought that I heard a noise down here at Jennifer's house, and I'm not sure, but they may have the equipment down here starting to do her landscaping. So let's run down here and check it out. Well, that ought to make Jennifer real happy. I've got some boards over here that I'm going to have to recut because, as Poplar does, they warped. So I'm going to put them back on the sawmill and see if I can cut the bow out of them. All right, you can see how these boards bowed right there. That's from one end to the other. All right, friends, what my plan is to turn these up like this with the crown facing up. I'll come through here and barely clip that off. Then we'll flip it over, we'll cut the belly out, and then they should be straight. laid in there, trimmed off and used. Even though they're only 5 inches, that will get me another 10 inches wide, which is what those 1x10s were cut at. Well, they're widening out this bank over here and then filling a lot of that in to do some landscaping for her front yard. And then this ditch right here is going to get moved back probably, I don't know, I'd say 4 or 5 feet. A few of those trees are going to have to come out and that bank will be redone. Once this section is moved right here, they're going to add on, I think, about an 8-foot piece of tile onto that right there so that this ditch can drain, and that will widen out her driveway right there. And then here's a look from the other side. I think it's going to look good when it's done. I'm heading down to Jennifer and Steven's place because I think they're trying to get their rototiller working, because I've got a little spot plowed up for her for a garden over here, but we need something to turn the ground over. So let's go down here and see if we can check it out. Okay, friends, here is the tiller. This is a Tecumseh engine, and I think we just got done taking the carburetor off. I don't know if you can see it in there. I'll pull it out just a little bit, but I think, I don't know, what do you think? I think it's about time for a new one. Put it in that gas to soak, hoping to clean up some parts maybe. And I told him, I said it might be best just try to keep that and use it for spare parts in case something goes bad on the new one. Let's start out with a new one. Yeah, you can tell down in there that water had got into that. That'd be a whole lot of cleanup. Sometimes you just got to start over. So I'm going to head up to the top of the hill. I've got to go up there and get the tractor to come back down here and get another log. Now, you all know that I couldn't get back up to the top of the hill without having to make a detour for the dogs to the creek. Hey, dirty face. What are you doing? Are you at the creek? Uh-oh, what? Are you at the creek? Well, I tell you what, they're happy to get wet. And with all that wind, they're going to be cool. They'll go back up there to the cabin, lay down and take a siesta. Well, you know what, friends? I'm not really sure what type of wood that is. I don't quite think that it's poplar. And we'll find out when we cut into it. Be sure and stay tuned until next week, because I'm going to try to get the other half of that floor put down. Y'all take care.